New year, new you. How are those New Year's resolutions going so far? I mean, let's be honest, the gym is far away and it's cold outside right now. 2020, it's a year where it's scary enough to think about and hard enough to write on paper for like the first month of January. But it's gonna be quite the year. You know, we got new video series.
Eddie V8 wants to know, did you get TC because you're naughty and enjoy getting spanked?
New personalities, and of course, new ways to get your wheels, tires, and or suspension from fitmentindustries.com. But we can't forget the classics in the automotive scene, even if they are about 3 decades old right now. And that hurts to say. I'm Alex Edify on Instagram, and today we're gonna be talking about one of the best sports cars to ever be made in the mid-90s. A car that is by definition the true embodiment of a driver's car that had the power going to the other wheels. A car that made people continue to follow Honda and Acura for years after the 90s golden era. Today is a special day, ladies and gentlemen, because we're gonna be talking about you wanting to own an Acura/Honda Integra. It's a banger, boys and girls, and if this is your first time watching a Fitment Industries video, hi there, hello, welcome. And if you haven't subscribed yet, be sure to do so we can keep making banging videos like this. Hit the bell button, that's a pretty neat thing too. And if you're looking for aftermarket wheels, tires, or suspension for your newly acquired Acura Integra or otherwise, be sure to hit us up at fitmentindustries.com, where we literally have everything. You know, tax refunds are coming. Why save it when you can spend it on some dope wheels? You know what I'm saying? All right, anyway, and we got a giveaway going on with Kansei Wheels right now. I wear the shirt underneath here, but it's cold out here. There'll be a description link below. Pick up a t-shirt, get automatically entered in the win. The Honda Acura Integra was made by our good old boys Honda from 1986 to 2006, meaning to be the successor of the Honda Quint. It was focused on being an upscale, sleek, sexier version of the Honda Civic that would penetrate the US market with the introduction of Acura in '86. You see, things were going well in Japan and all of those other markets, but the one ugly cousin with the big belly wasn't getting much love. You know, that's us, the US of A. The Acura was born specifically for our beard-having, beer-loving, bear-shooting selves. Okay, and when it entered the market, it did it well. The Acura Integra wasn't just a slightly spruced up Civic, it was a new car that took what was successful in the Civic and made it better. All right, disc brakes all around, retuned suspension, dual overhead cam, not one but two, inline 4-cylinder, and life was good. And with the Acura being ahead of Nissan's Infiniti and Toyota's Lexus, it didn't take long for Acura to see success with the Tegi. I mean, look at it. It's everything you could possibly want. It came in with as many doors as you wanted, and it was reliable. Reliable. How nice would that be? Within the first 3 years of producing the Integra, the Acura continued to explode with their dealerships throughout the US. They started with 60 dealerships across America, and by the time the Gen 2s came out, Acura would have more than 200 dealerships. The second generation would be introduced in April of 1989 and would feature the one, the only VTEC motor, okay? It was in a JDM Integra DA, but it still counts, okay? America would be blessed with the GSR trim that had the good old B17A1 motor, but you had to wait a little bit for the other stuff. Now, you still have the RS, the IS, the GS trim, but the GSR trim is the one that you want to keep your eye out on if you can, because it only came with a 5-speed trans. It came with a little rear spoiler and some tiny little cute old 14-inch wheels. Aw. From there, the third generation was born, aka the DB6, aka the DEC1, aka the DB7 through 9, aka the DC2, aka the DC4. And they don't make it maybe really easy to remember these things, I'm gonna be honest, but this generation is really good old automotive enthusiasts began to get a little tight in the pantaloons, okay? USDM would receive the RS or regular sport trim, standard, the LS or luxury sport, air conditioning, power windows, and a sunroof. SE, which stood for special edition, added some leather seats and alloy wheels, and you had a Grand Sport. And then you had the Grand Sport Racing, which came with the big old B18C1 dual overhead cam VTEC, which is pretty awesome. Okay, here's the thing with these cars is as we start jumping into generations, the cars themselves begin to get a little bit more sport oriented in their trims. but not just by adding a spoiler and calling it good. You see, Honda and Acura was putting some serious effort and tech into these cars, so much so that people began to notice. This would be the same generation that Honda would include the Integra Type R to the Japanese market. It was awesome and beautiful. It had a close ratio 5-speed, iconic white paint, strengthened chassis, weight reduction, and 8,600 rev limit that made anyone question why they bought anything else besides this car. And Japan was getting pounded by the excessive deflation of the yen and the oversaturation of tuner cars in the States that were no longer performing in sales due to overpricing, okay? It just happened. Even the DC2 Type R was initially launched in Japan only, but then, you know, somebody asked Santa to come down the Christmas tree with the USDM DC2 Type R, and by jolly, it actually happened. The Acura Integra Type R was the only single Honda Type R that ever made its way over to the US of A on the big old island. It was beginning in 1997 to 2001. With a small hiatus in 1999. It was a 1.8 liter that pulled out 200 horsepower and had a 10K tach, reshaped intake valves, everything that could make these cars iconic it had, okay? It had the highest specific output per liter for any naturally aspirated piston engine in North America. It became the best handling front-wheel drive car ever built. Now, it was really only built for homologation purposes, but every single one of the Honda/Acuras ended up losing money because of all the fact that all the additional work they had to do on these cars required local shops or specialized shops and a more unique body style. That's the rumor, probably not the case, but it's a cool little fun fact. But if you can find one of these, bless you, because you want to go get a lottery ticket, mostly because one sold like a year ago for $65,000. An Acura Integra, $65,000. That's more than the new Supra. Although it was an iconic car, eventually Gen 4 came along and still carried the great success in NA that the previous generation had. In addition, the fourth generation are the cars that I really started to grow up with, as lots of people could get their hands on them and they were a blast to drive. And you could really just modify the hell out of them. So the fourth generation would only be produced from 2001 to 2006 and was introduced as the RSX for Integra since Acura changed its naming system. This model wouldn't save as a Type R, but the RS or RSX Type S trim with the K20 engine was pretty fun too. But just like all good things, it had to come to an end, even with the automotive enthusiasts begging, okay? They literally begged Acura to keep the car around a few more years, and Honda made 150 extra and then just stopped production. Yeah. Fun cars. But the history class is over, okay? So get that out of here. So you want to own an Acura Integra? Well, boyo, set down the VTech jokes and grab your favorite Honda garage flag and let's just strap in, okay? The first and second generation Integras are cool cars. They're old, and you've got to be okay with that. Can you modify them? Yes. Do people modify them?
No.
Most of the time, a good old clean coilover or Enki ESM setup will get the job done on these generations with like 15x7 or smaller wheel size, but finding these clean anymore is pretty rare, and wanting to own one is a bit of an acquired taste. Once you jump into 1994 though, pretty much the best year in the history of the world, you start to see these cars get more modified. Here's the thing with Integras though, and pretty much all mid-90s tuners cars. Modifying them will make them either look beautiful or absolutely terrible. There's no in between. But hot diggity dog, can these things look good? Because you can go on NKs, you can go on XXRs, you can even go clutch wheels, you can go Volk, it doesn't matter. Okay, carbon fiber hood, look sharp. Canards, hell yes. Racing harnesses, bless the Lord. Wrong color fender, probably not anymore, okay? But the cars here start to grow in the modification world and they really start to look damn good. And it's just so nice, okay? Pair that with a solid ass motor, makes it an actual Lego block. But since it's a little bit older now, we're up to the 2010s. You'll need to do some maintenance stuff and restoration on these cars if you want them to look fresh. Lots of paints on these cars are trash, which means a respray. The headlights are usually foggy, the knees are weak, the headlight restorer, etc. Arm spaghetti, I don't know. The last generation likely is the most aftermarket capability platform-wise because it's just the newest. The new gen cars, they're a blast to drive, and even though they're non-Type Rs, they drive pretty dang well. The reason people love Integras, and probably most notably the Type R though, is the one that graced our presence, is because it was like that one transfer student with the cool accent that everyone wanted to be friends with, only to leave 3 weeks later. Where was I? People love these cars because they are a car that you can do just about everything with. They drive well, they perform, the engine is fun. It is reliable-ish. The Type Rs are iconic and considered the best front-wheel drive sports car ever made. The newest generation used to be a car that we'd find people taking to autocross, to car shows, to open drag days, and then drive them back home. The car just does everything. Sure, it's a coupe, and it doesn't support a family lifestyle, but the Integra was never really meant to do that in the more recent generations. It was meant to be a car that could hit the ground running in a new segment that provided an upscale feel, a solid ride, and a good driving experience. And the Acura Integra did just that. It was named one of the 10 best cars in 1987, 1988, 1994 through 1997. And if you're on the fence of snagging one, I highly doubt you'd ever regret it. Just don't buy the automatic. Don't buy the one that has clapped out parts on it with zip ties and tape, okay? And definitely still understand that you're buying a 20-year-old sports car. Something's probably gonna break on you. These cars, they look fresh, they look good, and they're a fantastic car and you can never go wrong with them. So if you're looking for aftermarket wheels, tires, or suspension for your newly acquired Acura Integra or otherwise, hit us up over at fitmentindustries.com, where we literally have it all, from NK to Volt, Autohan to ESR, and BC to Acura. It's like a haiku, except it's not, because I don't remember haikus, because I don't understand any point in life where you need to learn a haiku. Anyway, I'm Alex from Fitment Industries, and we will see you guys later. Peace.